Hi guys, I'm Anshul and I'm a writer and I especially like learning about gods, demons and mythology. So I'm trying to combine my two loves and bring to you original tales with a mythological twist. Hope you enjoy. The young milkman, Gopi, was already awake. He cursed both the Pandavas and the Kauravas. Gopi turned around and standing before him was giant of a man. It was Bhim. Bhim's eyes widened. Dudwale, mind your tongue. Gopi looked straight into his eyes. The war of Mahabharat was over and life in Hastinapur had become peaceful again. In fact, a little too peaceful. Because right now it was 4 in the morning and the entire kingdom was fast asleep. But a young milkman, Gopi, was already awake. Today he had woken up earlier than usual and was getting ready for work. Not because he wanted to sell more milk, but before starting work, he had to visit Swanvan and bring back a special golden flower, a flower that bloomed only once every season. His wife Mahima really wanted that flower, and it was for the very first time she asked him for something. No matter what happened, he wanted to bring it for her. Before leaving, Gopi saw Mahima sleeping peacefully. He lovingly wanted to kiss her forehead, but he stopped. What if she woke up? He wanted her to sleep peacefully. After all, the poor woman spent the entire day doing household work without rest. Looking at her, Gopi quietly thought about how marrying him had ruined her life. He had given her nothing except poverty and struggle. And after the war, even arranging 2 meals a day had become difficult. Thinking about this, he cursed both the Pandavas and the Kauravas. Their fight had burned down the life of common people like him. Just then, a tiny mouse suddenly ran past his feet. Ah! Gopi screamed in fear and instantly jumped onto the bed. Hearing the noise, Mahima woke up and saw her husband terrified of a mouse. Trying not to laugh, she chased the mouse away and calmed him down. The moment the mouse disappeared, Gopi tightly hugged Mahima just to feel safe. Then suddenly he realized he had woken her up so early in the morning. Feeling guilty, he apologized and started getting ready to leave. Mahima smiled lovingly and said, "It's okay." Then she reminded him softly, "If possible, please bring that golden flower." Gopi nodded with determination, picked up his milk containers, said goodbye, and left. Finally, Gopi reached Swanvan, the golden forest. The red morning sun was rising from behind the green trees, while the birds filled the forest with their songs. He parked his milk cart and entered the forest to find the flower. As he walked towards the lake where the golden flower bloomed, he thought about how during the Kaurva rule, common man was not even allowed to enter this beautiful forest. Only kings, princes, and royal people could come here. At least this changed under Yudhishthir's rule. Lost in his thoughts, Gopi finally reached the lake, and suddenly a fragrant breeze interrupted his thoughts. There it was, the golden flower, blooming proudly in the middle of the lake, as if it already knew how beautiful it was. The drops of dew on its petals made it shine like gold itself. Gopi slowly stepped forward to pluck it, but suddenly a heavy iron like hand slammed on his back. Gopi nearly lost his balance. Before he could understand what happened, a deep booming voice said, "Oi doodh wale, what are you doing here? Don't you have to deliver milk?" Gopi turned around and standing before him was giant of a man. It was Bhim. The moment he saw him, Gopi became nervous. "Namaste, Sarkar." Yes, namaste. Bhim laughed. "But what are you doing here, Dudwale?" Gopi explained he had come to take the golden flower for his wife. Bhim smiled and said, "Nice, Dudwale. I also came here to take this golden flower for my wife, Draupadi. She loves it." Then he looked at Gopi and laughed again. "Want me to pluck one for you too?" "Looking at you, I doubt you can ever reach it. You distribute milk all day. You should also drink it. You are so weak." But Gopi quietly replied, "No, sir, I'll pluck it myself." Then Bhim chuckled and said, "Okay, bring one for me too while you are at it." Gopi looked at the flower and said, "But Sarkar, there is only one flower." "Oh, that's no problem," Bhim replied casually. "You bring that flower for me." But Gopi couldn't accept it. After all, he had come here first for his wife. Gopi swallowed his fear and said, "No, Sarkar, I'll take it home for my wife." Bhim's smile slowly faded. "What? Is your wife more beautiful than my Draupadi? Is she more special than her?" And for the first time in his life, Gopi answered fearlessly, "Yes." Bhim's eyes widened. "Dudwale, mind your tongue. Do you even know what I have done for Draupadi? What all can I do for her?" Gopi looked straight into his eyes. "I know only one thing. This flower will go to my wife, no matter what happens." The atmosphere became tense. Bhim kept on staring at Gopi, and strangely, even though Gopi was terrified inside, he didn't look away. Finally, Bhim said, "Fine, Dudwale. Tomorrow morning, we settle this with a wrestling match. A fight between two husbands, willing to do anything for their wives. Whoever wins takes the flower home." Hearing this, Gopi's heart almost stopped. Where was Bhim? Where was he? One was a mountain, other was an ant. But despite the fear, Gopi accepted the challenge. The two decided to meet again the next morning for the final fight. That evening, Gopi returned home, exhausted and frightened. He tried his best to hide it from Mahima, but she sensed something was wrong. Breaking the silence, Gopi said, "Mahima, I couldn't bring your flower today, but tomorrow, no matter what happens, I'll definitely bring it." Mahima understood something serious had happened. She gently replied, "Arey, I don't even need the flower. It's so hot anyway. It will weather in a day. But your face will light up when you see it, right?" Gopi said emotionally, "All your life you have worked without complaining. Housework, fields, everything. And you never asked for anything. For the first time, you have asked me for something. Just one flower." Then he looked into her eyes and said, "So I'll bring it, even if I had to fight Bhim." Mahima froze. "What? You picked a fight with Bhim? Over a flower? Tell me everything." Gopi explained her the entire incident, and after listening, she immediately said, "Then let him take the flower. He's taking it for his wife too. As long as you stay alive, many flowers will come again." But Gopi stubbornly replies, "No, I'll bring that flower for you." Mahima tried to make him understand. "I know you can do anything for me, but don't forget, Bhim can also do anything for Draupadi. Remember what he did to the Kauravas, especially Dushasan. He tore him apart. And Kichak, the man who insulted Draupadi, Bhim didn't let him live." Gopi replied softly, "But I didn't insult her." "I know," said Mahima, "but Bhim loves Draupadi deeply. He can cross any limit for her. So forget the flower. Forget Bhim." After saying this, she walked towards the kitchen. But the moment she picked up an utensil, a mouse jumped out. Mahima screamed in fear, "Ah!" But before the mouse could run away, Gopi crushed it under his foot without even flinching. At that moment, Mahima understood. Gopi was definitely going to face Bhim. The next morning, as a focused Gopi prepared to leave for the forest, Mahima came outside and said, "I am coming with you. I want to see how you bring the flower for me." Finally, the two reached Swan Lake. The golden flower was still blooming proudly in middle of the water, completely unaware of the chaos happening because of it. The couple looked around for Bhim, but still he hadn't arrived. For a moment, hope appeared in Mahima's heart. Maybe, just maybe, Bhim won't come. But suddenly, a thunder-like voice roared, "Oh Dudwale, ready for the fight?" Bhim had arrived. Bhim noticed Mahima beside Gopi and said, "Oh, you brought your wife too? Hoping she'll convince me to stop the fight." Before Gopi could answer, Mahima replied confidently, "No, I came here to see your face after he defeats you and puts that flower in my hair." Her confidence actually stunned Bhim for a second. Then Bhim smiled. "Come on, Dudwale. Show me how true your wife's words are." The two men got into position, slowly circling each other, measuring each other's strength. Of course, this wasn't an equal fight, but still there was confidence in Gopi's eyes. Suddenly Gopi charged towards Bhim, but Bhim caught him midair. He locked Gopi in a crushing bear hug, the same kind of deadly grip Dhritarashtra once wanted to use on Bhim after the war. Gopi closed his eyes. Mahima turned away in fear. Both believed this was the end. But then suddenly, Bhim burst out laughing. The deadly grip loosened, and the bear hug slowly turned into a warm, respectful hug. Dudwale, you are incredible. You are actually ready to fight me for love. This flower belongs to you. Bhim stepped back and looked at Mahima and said, this man loves you deeply. You are lucky. Then Bhim smiled and said, don't misunderstand me, Dudwale. I just wanted to see if there's anyone else in this world who loves his wife as madly as I love Draupadi. People only see me as an angry warrior. But deep inside, I am just a lover and I like meeting people like me. Gopi listened silently. Then Bhim pointed towards the flower and laughed. Now what are you waiting for, Dudwale? Go bring the flower for your wife. Gopi quickly entered the lake and gently plucked the golden flower. Then smiling happily, he placed it in Mahima's hair. And somehow it felt like the flower had always belonged here. Looking at them, Bhim smiled. See, Dudwale, love can turn fear into courage. Even I get my strength from Draupadi's love. Gopi and Mahima nodded in agreement and gently held hands for life.